Hello, my name is Rachel Pizzullo, and my project discusses popular music and culture during the 1960s after the British invasion. So, to get started, the British invasion was pivotal. It was a turning point in American popular music history. It was a cultural phenomenon when pop and rock music from Britain became largely popular in the States, which is interesting because before the 60s, only two British singles ever topped the Billboard's Hot 100 chart. This music became even such a hit, it ruined the careers of established R&B acts, and for a short period of time even derailed the success of largely popular acts, including the King Elvis Presley himself. But besides music, the British invasion also impacted various different segments in our society, like dress, substance abuse, gender roles, and much more, which I'll touch on a bit later. These British artists played in styles categorized as either blues-based rock music or as guitar-driven rock pop. In the front ranks, marching in formation behind the Beatles, were bands like Dave Clark Five, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, the Searchers, Pink Floyd, the Animals, the Beach Boys, and many more, not to mention tons of one-hit wonders. These bands had questionable lifestyles that went against collective old-school American beliefs, many of which chose to encourage illegal drug use and anti-war sentiments through song. Adults in this era felt these groups posed as a bad influence on America's youth, and for that, fought to limit their performances in the country. Generally speaking, this era woke America's teenagers up. Since bands and artists like Bob Dylan did not hold back when it came to sharing their political, social commentary, and new perspectives, young people felt more motivated than ever to voice their opinions. The British invasion was one of, if not the driving force, that pushed freedom of speech to achieve change in society through music in the 60s. With songs like Revolution by the Beatles, which I linked below, more and more people began to take advantage of freedom of speech. That being said, let's talk about the Beatles. When someone refers to music after the British invasion, the first thing that comes to mind, for everyone usually, is the Beatles. No band during this era best represented the 60s quite like the Beatles. They started a frenzy that America has never seen before. They held top 5 positions in the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart, the only time to date that has actually happened and been accomplished still. The Beatles also created a great deal of controversy during the invasion. John Lennon, which is one of the band's leaders, super famous, also made a statement at the height of their popularity saying that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus. And also, let's not forget, the group basically originated the term fangirl. Coming in close second with popularity was the Rolling Stones. They were considered an even more edgy and dangerous band than the Beatles, appealing to more outsider loner group. It was actually the Stones that changed the image of the Beatles from the bad boys to an upbeat, family-friendly group. For the Stones, it wasn't all peace and love. With their growing popularity came a lot of tabloid scrutiny over drug use. In fact, both Richards and Mick Jagger were charged with illegal drug offenses. Lastly, although Pink Floyd wasn't as popular as the other two bands, as a group, they interest me. Pink Floyd originates from friendships in Cambridge. Members Roger Waters, David Gilmour, and Syd Barrett attended school together in England. The band was considered the architects of 2 major music movements, including psychedelic space rock and blues-based progressive rock. They were also popular for their political, social, and emotional views in which they shared. An interesting fact about this band is in cases when a lead singer leaves, many bands don't make it. But this wasn't the case for Pink Floyd. Through 2 changes in lead singers, the band actually prospered and became more successful. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned a lot. I go more in depth with all this information in the site I created.